today.
Thank you. I don't think Richard's responding. I think he's died in the boardroom.
Everyone's saying hello, so I just thought I'd let you do it.
Oh, hello to you as well.
Not good enough for a greeting. See you later.
Hi, Josh.
Thank you. Right, we'll go around everyone. We are joined today by James Lees, Director of Marketing at Maybo.
How you doing, mate?
Tim Mawson, Head of Partnerships at Salesfire.
Hi,
Richard Himsworth, CEO of Salesfire.
Every week it's a Sunday name. Every week.
What's your middle name?
James.
I'm telling you.
What's wrong with that name, like? What's wrong with that name?
Common as muck.
It's a nice, good, strong Bible name, that.
Yeah.
And Elliot Lings.
Still junior
Director
development.
of Junior Development at Salesfire. How are you?
I'm good, how are you, Josh?
Right, first story. Cath Kids and Creditors owed 90 million. Has anyone looked at these stories yet?
Yeah.
No.
Of course you have.
What's the next one?
Shit.
What do you want to do that for?
What the next one?
So do you want to discuss on the context of this one then, Josh? Like,
I don't know. I just brought it up as like,
Let's do the Superdrug one then, are we?
let's go to Superdrug.
Yeah.
We were talking a bit about this earlier. Superdrug are actually going to be offering the DIY kits for COVID-19.
Superdrug have found a niche in the market.
So what this is, you go in for your makeup for the weekend when you're on your Zoom call with your chores, and then you also go and pick up to see if you've got a deadly disease potentially.
it's not like you've got it, it's if you've had it.
If you've had it.
The government ones are due to come out in the next 2 weeks, aren't they? And I think they were due to price it around about the £6 mark, from what I was reading on the Independent. So it's I don't know how I feel about this, because I'm quite eager to find out if we have had it. I'm sure many people will do, but if they're going to do this whole track and trace thing, won't you need the official government testing to tell you that you've done that? They can kind of lift your restrictions a little bit.
That's what I'm thinking. I just feel like going to get one from Superdrug is here nor there, really. It's
So
a
expensive
waste of
as well.
70 quid, isn't it?
It is very expensive. Like, you say put 70 quid into something where it's just to test if you've had something or not, and you know you're going to get that test again cheaper sooner. But the marketing on the fear factor a lot, which obviously is very, very in bad taste in the current climate.
I think it's quite a
Expert
tough
comment.
upsell, that.
Sorry, what did you say, Elliot?
I think it's quite a tough upsell.
I don't know.
It's an impulse to a COVID testing kit.
Oh, you've also bought Paco Rabanne 1 million. Would you also like to see if you've had COVID?
Yeah.
Let's not kid ourselves with it. They will sell hundreds of thousands of them.
Because that's the thing.
Absolutely.
If the government can't supply enough to get you, say, a test within 6 weeks, I might go and try. I might go and try and get one.
Things. You take one, even if it was like 90% accurate or whatever, it wasn't the official one. You do it for your own peace of mind.
Yeah.
You know, you're absolutely right, because I'm considering it myself. Even like it's like I'm saying, yeah, I think it's in bad taste and stuff like that. But the fear factors make me think, you know what? It's like for all peace of mind, I'd love to know.
Because the thing is, as well, if you suspect you might have had it and you want to get back on with your life, the way I'm looking at it is, if I have had it and I've got the antibodies for it, I'll probably start enjoying things a bit more. That sounds weird, but you probably would.
About 3 million people have had it, don't they?
But in the same breath, though, if you're talking about the Superdrug testing kit, will that data be transferred through the whole track and test and trace thing that the government going to launch? I don't think it's going to.
It's going to. No, it's not. It's going to be just.
So you'd have to get tested again anyway. So it's like you're paying £69 for your own peace of mind. But imagine you do buy the kit and think, I'm pretty sure I've had it. I'm going to get this test. I'm going to confirm I got. And that's all really good. You do get tested, and shit, I haven't got the antibodies.
So you're going to have to log on to Superdrug's online portal as well. So you're going to have to sign up for their online doctors portal. So. Are they taking your email address at that point? Are you opting into getting to that point as well?
Of course you are.
What a GDPR compliant.
The way you look at it, you can look at it two ways. You can look at it, it's quite clever, or you can look at it, it's quite grim.
It's clever and grim in the same breath. It's like you said, hundreds of thousands are going to buy this kit. If it's starting to get a bit of traction in regards to, the press is going quite viral about it.
It'll be your not so typical shopper as well. So there'll be a lot of a new type of profile of customer there as well.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Rich, could you move a bit closer to the mic, please?
I wonder if a lot of them will be sponsored, though, by employers.
Potentially. That might be another thing. Might be if people are saying we want to come back, we want you back in the office, it might be a prerequisite at that point. It might be like, what you need to go and get one of these kits done, and we need to have a printout from the portal saying that you've had it or whatever.
Yeah, but the government won't be out by that point if you talk like in a few weeks' time.
Do you think the government one is going to come out and there's not going to be a waiting list for it, though? I'm not convinced.
Of course I fucking don't it. No, like I don't think it'll be 2 weeks either. It's been 2 weeks for ages, but it's like
the government one's going to come out, but you're still good. I bet you it's still going to take you six weeks to get one.
Yeah, I mean, fair mate, you just convinced me to buy one.
And then we're going to buy one, aren't we? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm going to go buy one now.
Oh, I'm going to look at it.
It's going to be wild to manufacture all these, especially considering the whole world currently wants them.
Fortune, couldn't you, just from creating like a waiting list, from just having a subscription page where you just say, give us your details now, subscribe to our marketing, and we'll let you know when we've got testing kits available.
You could open up pre-orders or anything. You could get all that money in the bank just through
I'm not
pre-orders.
really bothered about getting one, mate. It doesn't interest me at all.
Doesn't it? Why
No,
not?
I think I'm good.
Why doesn't it interest you? Think it's too expensive, or you'd just rather wait for the government one?
I think it's a lot of money, and I think
Hang on, how much is it?
69
quid.
Okay.
I think if there's not a necessity to go into an office or a workplace, then there isn't really much reason for it. But I imagine, like, potentially, say if you're, I'm not entirely sure what it actually, like, who actually benefits other than people.
It's going to be curiosity for people, isn't it? It's going to be
Absolutely what it is, yeah.
What do you actually get out of it? Like, if it says, okay, you haven't had it, then so what? Or if you have had it,
If you've had it, then you can go about your business pretty much, can't you?
That's it. That's how I sort of see it. If I've got an indicator that I've had it, because I feel I was really
You
ill at
still
one
pass
point.
it on though. If you've already had it, and then you kind of, can you still transmit it if you
Apparently not.
if you get it again, kind of thing?
I mean, generally speaking, you shouldn't be able to because your body will kill it as soon as it gets it.
That's what I'm saying. Does it literally kill it on?
I don't think they're 100% sure. I mean, there must be a very small chance that you could still pass it on, but I imagine it's very, very small.
Right, I've just registered for their online doctor thing now.
Oh, is the portal already up and running?
But the thing is, there's a lot of social distancing anyway, isn't there? So if you come back that you've had it and you're possibly immune to it, does that mean you're going to start doing things that?
Maybe it makes you a bit more responsible. Maybe it's not the best in that.
But then even then, like now, it's almost like you can't get too close to people anyway because now it's almost like socially unacceptable to do so.
The other thing is though, maybe when June the 1st rolls around and all the shops are open, and it sort of might be still seen as a bit socially unacceptable to be going out to these places. It's pretty acceptable if you're going to buy a test, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You can always justify going out if you buy a test.
Here's one for you then. Let's say, for example, you've got the antibodies and you are immune to it, and you go around your business walking next to people, what have you, like, oh, do you know what, I'm going to go fucking sit on Redcar Beach for the day. What are you going to do? So, well, I've had the antibodies, I've got it, we'll prove it. No, I fucking can't. What are you going to do? Take your testing kit around with you all day long.
Yeah, you still got to walk past people with that level of respect, haven't you? Still 2 meters. Can't exactly be showing yourself to everyone.
Yeah, I suppose it's peace of mind for you. I mean,
that's going to go on for a while. That whole, I think people, friends and family. I think the social distancing will kind of fade away, but it'll almost be etiquette to keep you distant in public and sort of things.
I just can't really think of a reason like why it really be that. Why it really helps, which is possibly why it's so expensive, because actually
it's a luxury. It's not really.
It is a luxury, and it doesn't actually really tell you much.
Yeah, to be fair, earlier on in the article it says that it's good for satisfying people's curiosity, but nothing more.
Yeah.
So I think that's it, the nail on the head there.
Well, why is that? Because is it only so accurate?
97.5% accurate.
Okay.
Which is pretty good, but I imagine you're probably 100% in this case.
And it might not have gone through the sort of tests that to make it worthy of being something that the government could roll out.
The government were holding off, weren't they, until they had 100% accuracy. They have had solutions that have been less accurate. It's probably these ones that have developed these less accurate solutions now need to flog the product.
Yeah, that's true.
That's probably what's happening. They need an outlet for it, so they're picking up the likes of Superdrug.
It's hard to buy. They need some behavioural overlay to get this conversion through. I
think unless you do something like on a government scale where you get everybody to test themselves, so everybody who has it can go back to normal.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just to reduce the spread, isn't it? But I think on an individual level, especially when it's £59, there isn't going to be enough people buying them.
I bet you're completely wrong, Elliot. People won't buy home testing kits for COVID.
I think they'll buy them, but I just don't see how it really I don't think it's going to make any difference to them selling them.
No, it's peace of mind. It really is just curiosity, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, I'll probably get one just to have got it. And there's so little else going on as well at the minute. It's like
something to look forward to, isn't it?
Something to do as well. Like,
what do you do? What is the test? Is it pinprick?
It's a blood test.
Pinprick your finger, mate. Yeah.
Oh, I can't stand that.
Share it.
Right, next one. It's probably the biggest one, actually. Facebook shops.
This is cool.
This is mad.
We had Facebook shops years and years ago. They had a stab at it.
They did, yeah. Yeah, they did.
What was it like? What's the difference? Does anyone know?
It wasn't very good on mobile. Mobile was like, they came at the very wrong time, like weird time last time, but it's, but how far are they launching this then?
Just click through the products and landed on the person's site, I think.
So you're literally uploading your product catalogs to Facebook or Instagram as well, obviously.
But then it's got the added sort of feature as well, where then you can tie obviously the other Facebook products in, like WhatsApp and Messenger and all that, so you can like literally include all your customer service via those as well.
So it's coming away from them advertising through WhatsApp now as well. So I know there was a lot of stuff when they got when you bought WhatsApp, when they're going to try and bring bot marketing into it. So I know Microsoft have done a lot of it with Skype. So you could have a conversation with your mates in a group chat. Let's say you're organising a stag do. You say, do you know any decent places in Prague to go and stay? Then they'll start giving you ads for stuff in Prague. The bot will start recommending stuff for you for that on ad platform. Okay. So that might work well on this one. But Facebook, you can use people buy products directly through Facebook. You don't even have to go through the website, I think. But
so you've got one product catalog, but you've got access to WhatsApp, Messenger, you've got Facebook, you've got everything on there.
Essentially, it's a little bit like Etsy, isn't it, within Facebook?
Mm.
It sounds that way. Is it launched already?
So, Mark Zuckerberg described this as a way to help businesses suffering from the wake of COVID-19. They acknowledge it will not undo all of the economic damage.
Well, obviously, it's not going to undo everything, is it? Like, it's not going to get your shop back open and people in your store browsing, but it gives them a little bit of coverage that they wouldn't have had before. It gives them a little bit of a method.
It's something we've been working on for quite a while.
It seems like a similar move to what Shopify were doing with the directories as well. Sort of bridging that gap between those people that maybe weren't planning on doing it as a priority, but now obviously this has happened and they're like, right, no one's in our shop, no one's picking stuff up like physically.
We need to actually find another route to market. And if it's something where, like, let's not get it wrong, everybody pretty much uses Facebook every day, it feels like. Especially in the UK, I'd say that, I don't know the exact percentage, but it feels like everybody has a go at Facebook or Instagram. And if you've got a captive audience there where they can buy direct from a social channel, for a small business, it probably means the difference of actually being able to fund a lifestyle or fund your life at present.
So it's easy. You can directly import your product catalog from Shopify or BigCommerce. Directly just import it straight away.
You never used to be able to do that. Never used to be able to put it on manually. It was like you put your shop feed in properly and you can do it that way.
Yeah.
So it's going to become a proper marketplace now.
Yeah, basically.
Looks that way.
It only has Shopify and BigCommerce for the import at the minute, but I'm assuming they're going to roll it out to more people.
They say they're working with Shopify, BigCommerce.
Oh, they have been drawing a lot of attention from regulators as well in the last few years. It's not going to help, really, is it, when it comes to sort of arguments about monopolization and antitrust? Yeah, that they were under scrutiny for the way they were handling people's data and things, weren't they? So creating a shop front, everything. You're getting addresses, you're getting bank details, you're getting the lot, basically.
So I'm going to go out on a limb here. So if you think of like the people who kind of live on Facebook, so I'd say none of us here live on Facebook, but the people I know who do, they won't be bothered about what happens with their data because they don't think about that. So they think the bonus ballers, people who bonus ball everything. Do you know what I mean? Got a bottle of Gordon's pink gin. I'm not going to drink it this weekend, so I'm going to bonus ball it. Those aren't bothered. They'll be all for it. I certainly won't be buying through Facebook that way. No. I'm going to buy through Marketplace. I bought a planter last week. It was very, very nice. This bloke makes his own little wooden planters for the garden. But I won't be going too hard on Facebook and with things like that.
It's fair though, I think Facebook is no longer like, I don't think it's just for like Love Island types anymore.
No, they're Instagram, Snapchat, them, aren't they?
Yeah. 2 billion people on Facebook now. It's even 2.5 billion. So actually, the reality is that their demographic is huge, like it's massive.
Yeah,
very big. And I think
more pedestrian as a lifestyle.
Yeah, and all like their whole like ethos is basically to replicate real life within their life. So you've got like social groups, you've got your event groups, you've got your shops.
The mundanity of it.
You've got your photos. But it was all very public, wasn't it? And that's why they want to try and create it a little bit more private now, because actually in real life, you can go into your own house and just get away from everything.
That's true.
It was very open.
It's a bit disingenuous.
They wanted to mimic real life, couldn't they? Just lock down Facebook as well at the same time.
It's not that they say all this, but at the end of the day, it's the data that he doesn't care about security issues.
Yeah, I mean, reading on that article there, it's like they're working with Shopify and things. It's like they're trying to take them on, but being able to see what's, be able to link your store into Facebook is probably quite a big thing.
It's interesting because does this change ads as well? Does this change Facebook ads now?
Well, this is it, isn't it? Like, I don't think Facebook particularly care about making money off particular things. They're not interested in transaction fees and stuff. They're just interested in ads.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can make money off the transaction fee as well, they're laughing, aren't they?
Easy. Everywhere, all over the place is monetised, and they're just laughing. As you say, James, it's money all over for them.
Yeah.
It's not. They're not going to turn it down, are they?
Nah.
Of course not.
Speaking of data, by the way, did you see the news earlier this week, about EasyJet?
Oh, about the credit card details.
Yeah, so 9 million details got taken, 2,000 people's credit card details.
Right, I'll go on now. They're an absolute disgrace, those guys. They've cancelled my flight.
Is this on the record?
Yeah, why not? Cancelled my flight, and then I've gone through and asked for a refund. They basically looked at it and gone, "Oh, we don't feel like you've got reason for a refund."
What? They're cancelling the flight?
They've cancelled the flight, so I don't get a refund. And literally, they made the website so everything just revolves back to, we've given you some free credits, some vouchers. Everything revolves back to that. And now they've had the credit card deals hacked. I hope they go under, but after I've cashed in my vouchers.
Maybe this is just a big scam from Stelios. He's just stolen all the details to make sure he can keep the money.
I've had a nightmare on flights, So we were due to go on holiday the 28th of June this year, right? And it was getting late, and so we booked it through Hayes Travel, and they offered us saying it'd be no admin fee if you book your holiday next year. So I thought, oh no, right now, it's getting closer and closer, and been no announcements about change of flights and stuff like that. So yesterday, I rebooked the holiday for next year. Today, Jet2 have announced a change of flight, so our holiday would have been cancelled. We would have got a full refund. Instead, I've rebooked for next year and I can pay extra for it because it was extra £200 for the date I wanted. So Jet2 have had my pants down.
The cloak and dagger way all of these airlines have gone about this stuff is nuts. I was meant to be on a stag do now. I was meant to be flying on Wednesday, but they've just been. I applied for a refund and it was like, do you want cash or do you want vouchers? And I was like, right, I want cash. So I had to go through all this full rigmarole to register for cash. Then when it confirmed, it said, thanks for registering your interest in cash. We may still send you vouchers. Thank you very much. That was the last thing it says. Yeah, it's not. It
must be very difficult for these businesses, though. Everybody's just withdrawing the money.
Yeah, but I think it was Rich who said this a couple of weeks ago. They're not actually, the flights aren't going at the sky, though. It's not like they're actually flying. They're not spending any money on that.
They're pretty much just sitting on the money. Yeah.
Mm.
They're out paying the fuel and all the taxes and the airports and things, the land and stuff, like maintenance of the aircraft. They furloughed all the staff anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's no care packages for the staff. Yeah. It's not like that's where it's going. So it'd be almost a different story if that were the case, but they're not. Next one.
Part of me, though, wants to make sure that the airlines do have a little bit of money, because I don't fancy getting on that, being first back on that plane that's just been sat on the tarmac for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, yeah. Do you know what? I think the planes are going in the air because Teesside's been busier with people doing the practice runs and stuff.
Well, there was a point where they were flying planes on those routes just to keep them open, weren't they? They were flying empty planes. Whoa, do you put this one on, Tim? The super dry robots.
Yeah, I found that interesting, Mike.
That's an interesting thing.
The Superdry have decided, in terms of handling the returns process from here on out, they're going to use robots.
How does this work, though?
You jump down quite a few,
I'll be honest with you, it looks like them Roomba things that they are using there. You know, like a little disc on the floor that just goes from place to place, moving the things about, just checking that it's right.
Yeah.
I think it's probably modelled on something like Amazon style, you know, where they have, like, multiple robots taking things from place to place to make sure that it's all going through the order system correct. It's probably quite a smart way of looking at things.
Over 60,000 SKUs.
It's interesting how some of these businesses keep going, considering there's a lot of retail businesses are always in the news for struggling. Superdry just needs to exist and keep itself to itself.
I just keep getting Superdry to me on eBay. They keep suggesting Superdry for me on eBay, and I haven't worn it, like you said, a long, long time. But they're still making money, obviously, aren't they?
It's very much a
£800 million turnover, so someone's wearing it.
It's 600.
Why left? But it's one of those things as well. Like, I know I think it was last year, wasn't it? Superdry got in a bit of trouble.
What for?
They were sort of struggling with the finances, and if they can eliminate the wages,
Allegedly.
Allegedly, sorry. if they can eliminate the wages for people picking and packing and do it this way and do it efficiently, then is this the future of like warehouse management?
Well, is this the future where COVID becomes an excuse to sort of get rid of the staff in
That's,
warehousing?
yeah, I think it's a cynical way of looking at it, but I think you're right, Josh.
That's one of them things, isn't it? It's a very easy move to people to make off the back of it.
Usually, I find that in these situations, technology gets pushed even further, doesn't it?
Well, people innovate, don't they, in these situations when they're forced to, and it's the same as the shops sort of use this as an excuse to get rid of some of the retail staff in there as well. Do you start seeing more of the machines and
Yeah, I mean, like, you go in Tesco, they can make you do it yourself, don't they? They'll make you stack the shelves next as well.
It's the perfect excuse to do it, though, isn't it? As well, sadly,
Just go out the back and go get what you want, and then
it's not something you're going to argue with, is it? Here's one you might not like, Tim. What about Shopify announced? Did they announce this pay in installments thing this week?
So they had their like meet up, I suppose, yearly catch up sort of job. It's quite interesting because I know
What is that? What is the yearly catch up?
So basically, they cover everything that happened last year, what sort of things have changed, and obviously a lot had changed in terms of.
Is it a webinar or like a conference?
Well, it would normally be a conference.
Well, normally a conference.
Yeah, but obviously this time around it was a webinar.
Okay.
But yeah, throughout the whole like conference, they mentioned obviously while they'd grown as a company, how many new merchants had added, all this sort of get up. But then towards the end, they drafted in this lady to come and talk about where they're taking it this year or next year and beyond. It was quite an interesting space because they were talking about how they would use, I suppose it was them moving into more like obviously finance on sites and moving also into financing and offering like credit to retailers as well. So the idea being that if they can see how much is going through the back end of a system, they know how much they can lend them at a reasonable rate and turn into that sort of model as well, whilst also rolling out a pay later feature.
What, so they're actually offering credit to both like a merchant and a buyer?
A few companies done that over the years, actually. They'll tap into the admin of a site, understand the amount of revenue going through it, and then borrow based on that. Obviously, PayPal's done a similar thing as well, where you could draw down like a loan from PayPal based on the revenue that you're turning over through it.
How does the pay later work then, Tim?
So my understanding was I was looking through like the last part of it, and it was essentially they rolled it out and they were talking about how they now have grown to such a point and they have such a level of investment where they can afford to sort of, I suppose it is like almost looking like a direct competitor to the likes of Klarna and other people out there like ClearPay. It'll be like, I think it was based around a weekly transaction though rather than monthly. So like you'd have 4 weeks to pay this and do it that way. But it was different, I suppose, because it's not something that I'd seen come from a platform themselves. But then again, if they can set it up with a site immediately, does that eradicate the need for a Klarna or something like that?
Oh, right, okay. Because they're tying this directly into the local directory thing they announced a couple of weeks ago. It looks like they're actually now facilitating people to deliver as well, and they'll sort that out.
It's quite interesting, isn't it, that a number of companies, I think, it's almost like the whole COVID thing has kind of sprung them into action to kind of pivot the business plan. And obviously a lot of these things will have been planned with Shopify quite a while ago. But it'd be interesting to see if some of these have been brought forward because of what's happened with COVID. I think, for example, Strava's just turned monetized now. So you literally had millions of users of Strava around the world. The users are kind of kicking off because they're now charging about £5 a month for it, I think.
And is there no free tier to it?
It's still a free tier.
It's still a free tier.
It's still a free tier, but it's there's really started ramping up in regards to all any bit of extra functionality they have now goes to the paid one.
Right.
Okay. And anytime you record anything or click something, you get hit with an ad to upgrade. Now on Strava, like much more than you used to, say 12 months ago.
You got likes of Spotify as well, making that move with Joe Rogan, starting to get into like kind of land there.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. First announced, the stocks went up by like 1.2 billion, I think, within 20 minutes. But now it was up by 4 billion.
I think what's quite interesting about it is Spotify have been on about moving into podcasts for probably a couple of years now, because like Apple kind of neglected it, and I think even YouTube kind of neglected it, and it's always been on a bit of the back burner, hasn't it? Podcasts.
Yeah, they started bringing the functionality in, but it's not the best place for them at the minute.
I think the thing that's probably helped is the fact that signing that deal, shows they are really serious about podcasts.
Oh
well,
yeah, I mean
YouTube's had the monopoly on it, really. The whole video podcast side of things, and I don't think a lot of the big names. I think they'd become frustrated at the fact that they have got the monopoly, and they can pretty much dictate the play on things.
Oh, interesting, because this all happened probably, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but in the gaming community. So like a lot of the people who live stream games, YouTube was like the place to be.
Mm.
But a lot of them have moved away from that to Twitch, because the money they make is a lot better, and they don't get like their videos don't get flagged for certain reasons. I think you can even make donations and stuff to people through Twitch, where I don't think you can on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
YouTube, I think where they've got to that big company size, where I think actually in terms of innovating, it seems to have slowed down.
Because they're at a point now where they have to serve so many different sort of verticals though as well with YouTube, where Twitch obviously is focused more on people playing games. Spotify always been audio, so it's a pretty neat fit for a podcast, really. I know a lot of people do watch the video version of it, but I listen to quite a lot of audio only ones. I know obviously quite a lot of people do. The Spotify functionality for video is not great though. I don't find.
Never even tried it. I never do video podcast, mate.
That's the thing. A lot of people don't even know it has that functionality. I've seen it a bit, but it's a bit clunky. It's not.
It's quite interesting. I find it interesting how YouTube is all based around like user-generated content. But if you go to like, the music world, things like Spotify and things are all focused on like reduced labeled content.
Mm.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go on YouTube, you can get movies, but it's hidden away. Whereas Spotify, that's backwards in that all the user-generated content and podcast is actually quite hidden away.
Right, thanks guys. I think we leave it there. I think we've got a guest next week. I think Tim Johnson's joining us. He is Chief Sales Officer at Visualsoft. Is that right? Is that the right title?
I believe so.
Yeah, so thanks guys. I'll see you all next week.
Sounds bye.
Bye.